How is everybody doing? Welcome back to another episode of The Banker Next Door. I am your host, Dr. Joe Berquist. Today, I wanted to bring everybody a CFPB report on auto repossessions, like what's kind of happening right now in the auto repossession market. I thought this was, again, a very interesting report coming from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So I'm going to bring this up real quick so we could take a look at this and go through it. So this is called, this was a report that was just released in January of 2025. It's called Repossession in Auto Finance. Now, what does the table of contents basically has here? It has an executive summary, introduction, repossession trends, timing of repossession completion, repossession costs, repossession fees, repossession forwarders, and then finally a conclusion. And then an Appendix A has a data set background. So what I'm going to focus on today in this episode is basically we're just going to take a look at the executive summary real quick, and then we're going to take a look at the conclusion, not really go through so much of the body of the paper, if you will. But let's take a rundown here. Let's look at the executive summary. I'm going to blow this up real quick here for everybody, just so everybody can get a good look at this. So, okay, so outstanding auto loan balances totaled more than 1.64 trillion through the 3 quarters of 2024, representing over 100 million active auto finance accounts and 63 billion in new monthly originations as of April 2024. Despite auto loans being one of the largest sources of consumer credit outside of mortgage lending, detailed information about the auto finance market is limited. In February of 2023, the CFPB launched the Auto Finance Data Pilot, issuing 9 market monitoring orders to 3 banks, 3 finance companies, and 3 captive lenders to provide information about their auto lending portfolios. The orders requested data regarding accounts originated or with servicing activity from January 1st of 2018 through December 31st of 2022. For accounts originated prior to 2018 with servicing activity during the 2018 to 2022 period, lenders were asked to provide key data from loan origination. This is the second report examining the data collected from the Auto Finance Data Pilot. The first report provided findings on negative equity. While some estimates of repossession volume exist, currently available data do not provide detailed information on repossessions. As with foreclosures and evictions, repossessions are extremely disruptive because the consumer may lose access to their vehicle, which may also prevent the consumer from getting to work. The consumer may still be required to repay any outstanding balance from the loan, plus fees associated with the repossession, or the consumer may see a negative impact to their credit score. However, the level of available data on repossessions is significantly less compared to other credit markets. These data provide insights into a sample of the market, and while the data set can illuminate key trends, these findings may not necessarily be indicative of overall industry activity. So let's see. So what are some of the key findings from the data set? So repossession assignments surpassed pre-pandemic levels in 2022. So in December of 2022, 0.75% of all outstanding loans were enough days past due that the lender assigned the vehicle to a third party for repossession, referred to as repossession assignments later in the report. This represents a 22.5% increase from the December 2019 level of 0.61%. The share of repossession assignments completed decreased in 2022 compared to 2019. The use of third-party repossession and recovery management services, referred to as repossession forwarders later in this report, by lenders in the data set increased from 31% at the beginning of the data collection in January of 2018 to 66% at the end of the data collection in December of 2022. Consumers in 2021 were more likely to make payments sufficient to regain possession of their vehicle after a repossession had occurred, refer to this in the report as repossession redemption, than consumers did pre-pandemic. But the level fell throughout 2022 as used car values declined. And then finally, average outstanding balances for consumers with outstanding balances on their accounts after a vehicle was repossessed and sold by the lender were rising prior to 2020, then fell as used car prices increased post-pandemic, referred to later in this report as deficiency balance. So some very interesting information here. Now, I'm just going to kind of skip down here to the end. There are a couple of really good charts and graphs in here. Like you have like the percentage of open accounts assigned to repossession. It has like super prime, prime, near prime, subprime, deep subprime, and then overall. No shock there that deep subprime really climbing up to 3% there. So kind of an interesting chart there. It gets into voluntary repossessions, so percentage of completed repossessions. Then we go down here and then redemption. But I'm just going to slide down here to the end. I want to get to, conclusion. So the Auto Finance Data Pilot dataset provides an unprecedented view into repossession compared to what publicly available data currently provide. The data show that repossession assignments increased for certain consumers post-2020, but that many consumers avoided repossession in parts of 2021 and 2022. The data show that for lenders in the dataset, repossession forwarders were increasingly involved in repossession activity, and that repossessions carried out through forwarders may have resulted in increased repossession costs passed on to consumers. Our previous report on negative equity showed the potential downside of decreasing used car prices for consumers. We note that the data in this report indicate that deficiency balances rose significantly in 2022 as car prices declined in value. While decreasing prices are a benefit to current buyers, those consumers with loans on vehicles with higher than average depreciation may find themselves with a larger unpaid balance relative to their vehicle value than they might expect. The data provide insight into the timing of repossessions after missed payments, information that up to now was not readily publicly available. All of these attributes of repossession have potential impacts on consumer risk, and a fuller understanding of the contours of repossession is a step toward assessing those potential risks. So really interesting report here. Definitely, I think that it was really good that they went through this and did this report, provided some really interesting information on, auto repossessions and what's kind of happening right now in that market. So I would highly tell everybody, hey, check this report out. You might find some information that you might like in here. There is a link to the report in the description down below if you want to go check it out. But I think we will continue to keep an eye on this. Obviously, the CFPB is doing some really good research in this area. Might be worth, I'll go back and check out that report on negative equity, the first report they kind of did here, to see if there's any good gems or if that's worth reporting on. But like I said, just some really interesting information here around auto repossessions that I thought people would find really interesting. But I will wrap up by basically saying, if you like this episode, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, as that always helps the channel. Remember, we are on YouTube, Rumble, and all major podcast platforms. Please be sure to leave your comments down below, as I always love getting back to everybody. Remember to check out some of the other content on the channel. And finally, tomorrow night, the BND Strategy Room will be live on YouTube at 8 p.m. That is our weekly live stream show. Please be sure to come on and check that out. Otherwise, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see everybody again real soon. Thanks a lot.